Hello, my monstrosities. Hello once again. Today I bring to you a video that quickly became larger than I planned. I, at first, was going to do what I did last go round of like, well, here's three detachment changes I would like to see, or three detachment things I would like to see in the next balance data slate, and all that jazz. But if I'm going to release a video criticizing somebody else's take, I should at least give my own for people to criticize mine. And it doesn't start with subterranean assault, but it does come from the fact that this is our new standard of living. Like when you, I was going to make a joke, but that might actually hit home for uh, some people. That would actually hit home literally. Anyway, this is our new standard of living with being a Tyranids player right now. It's kind of looking like Subterranean Assault or Don't Come Outside. Now, there's another detachment that is looking promising with the addition of something, and I'm waiting to see another week or two of results to see if that continues, because I'm not going to let myself get my hopes up like everybody else does with it every time. If you're familiar with this channel and my take on that, you know exactly what I'm talking about. But uh, we'll see how things perform this weekend. But that said, I have several tabs open, and it became bigger because I was only going to do three detachments. But we're about a month out or so of when a new balanced data slate should happen, so maybe there's some final changes getting put to the press. Maybe, just maybe, some of this gets picked up somehow, some way. So, we're opening with Subterranean Assault just to say, hey, if you see that you can give Tyranids reroll hit rolls of 1, teleportation, and making 2 Trigons characters, and we still don't just break everything, I think the other things can just get a little bit of love. So, admittedly, this is now out of order of some detachments. There's no particular order, but this is what we're rocking with. So, first one up, Vanguard Onslaught. Yes, I think Vanguard Onslaught is going to look better with a certain unit, um, and I'm going to stop that there. But I will say that I think Vanguard Onslaught still is able to receive a bit of a touch up without completely breaking the game. What is that touch up I would like to see? Tyranid units with this ability are eligible to charge and shoot in a turn at which they fell back. Vanguard invaders can advance, shoot, and charge. Monster, that's insane. How could you ever let that happen? Well, two things. First up, let's look at the Vanguard invaders. If Well, let's see. Gargoyles already have Assault, right? Hyperadapted Ravenous already have Assault. But if I attach a Winged Tyranid Prime to Ranged Warriors, we'll get to that later, they should get Assault without me needing to take the Hive Tyrant. If I manage to bring out the Harpy or the Hive Crone, they should be able to get Advance, Shoot, and Charge. Now, those aren't the biggest threats. I think that that's just perfectly fine to have it. But the real thing that I would like out of it is giving Tyranids fall back and shoot. That's the thing that we really, really need is fall back and shoot across the board. And you'd go, monster. Where's number 2? How can you say that wouldn't just break it? Well, they added it to Coulter Speed, and I'll be honest, I saw that Coastal Speed did good 1 or 2 weekends. I don't know if that's still tracking. I haven't kept up with it. I apologize. But if it didn't break Coastal Speed, it didn't bring back the terror that buggies used to be, I think it's fine. And also, here's a better example. Uh, Emperor's Children. I think that if you can give an entire army advance, shoot, fall back, and charge with a little bit of a twist, you can give it to Tyranids, and guess what? It still won't be broken. Because I'm not going to say I told you so. That's actually a lie. I'm going to say I told you so. Emperor's Children, I thought that rule was bonkers on first read, and then I said, hey, they got nerfed way too hard because they only have like 10 models. People thought it was still going to break the game. I'm telling you now, look at that. It's not true because that shit, you have 10 models, so you can't go too hard. If an entire faction can have that rule, I think that Vanguard Onslaught can open up the doors for Tyranids in that way. And I'll be honest, it's looking more appealing to me. I don't know if I'm making the jump yet, but I will at least say here that it is looking more appealing to me. Next detachment that I think can get some love and why, Synaptic Nexus. I think we can just straight up buff the imperatives. I've said this because look at Gladius Task Force. I've said this time and time again. And one of the things that I've asked for to happen in Synaptic Nexus is make two Synapse, you know, units, characters. And they gave it to Subterranean Assault, which I thought was weird. I feel like you could have just made them Trigon Primes. Um, Off rip, but I don't mind this at all. I just thought it was like a strange decision. I don't think they're going to go back and do that now to any other detachment, but I think you can just straight up make the imperatives better. Make the 5 up invulnerable save for a turn, a 4 up invulnerable save for a turn. Instead of +1 to advance and charge rolls, given that only the Hormagaunts can advance and charge outside of Vanguard Onslaught, make it +2 to move. I've said that time and time again. And go to slaughter. I think you could do one of two things. You can either remove the word melee from goaded to slaughter. Each time a model in this unit makes an attack, add 1 to the hit roll, or you could keep melee attack and make it +1 to hit and +1 attacks, just like that thing I keep saying that it is the wah. The wah gives you advance and charge, +1 to strength and attacks, and 5 up invulnerable save. I think if you're going to break it out, they better be good those turns that you activate these things. And to that point, nobody's crying about getting hit with a unit with parasitic biomorphology out of Assimilation Swarm. Nobody's like, oh my gosh, this is just so many attacks coming out of these Tyranids. Oh my days. That's not happening. So I think that it's fine. Admittedly, I did want +1 to hit and +1 damage. Um, but I think that might be a little too radical, even for me. I think that could be a little off the rails. But I think that +1 to hit and +1 attacks could be fine. We already have +1 strength because of Synapse, and guess what? Synaptic Nexus is asking you to be in Synapse. So I think you can do +1 strength, hit, attacks, and still be fine with our shit. I think that you can just do that. Next up, Crusher Stampede. Oh boy, oh my. Where do we begin? Actually, this one's simple. I shouldn't even drag this out. Just straight up. Look, Solar Spearhead, like I said, you gave the character thing over to Subterranean Assault, which was, odd. But the detachment Auric Armor does all of our shit in a different way. Instead of plus, it's rerolls, right? But more toy Ancients. It gives walkers +2 to their move and +1 to advance and charge rolls made for those units. I.e., hey, we realize that we've made walkers kind of shit. Here's a stat boost. I think you can just give a stat boost to our monsters. What is that stat boost? Bum bum bum. Oh, would you look at that? The big thing, survivability. Yeah, I think we can just make them more survivable. I think you can give them a 6 up or a 5 up, feel no pain, and still be okay. Is it a 5 up, feel no pain, annoying for some people when going against us in Invasion Fleet? Sure, but guess what? That's not saving our ass either. We also have Monster. How could you just. They already have rules. How could you give them more? Well, look at Imperial Knights. Look at their sheets. And then they have abilities. They also have. You're taking Lay Low the Tyrant. Each time this model is selected to shoot. Reroll 1 hit roll. And reroll. And you can reroll 1 wound roll, right? You still have these things. You can also gain command points if you do the deed. So it I'm just saying, if we can let Imperial Knights do this shit, and they weren't bad before, we made them cheaper. I think my bigger buggle boys can have some durability. Now, that's on the way of that. So I said that with you could do that with Imperial Knights the way that they have, feel no pain. Also, looking over at Chaos Knights, you've given it so that outside of 18 inches, they have the possibility, or if the attacking unit is battle shocked, a thing that would be nice if we had some interplay with that battle shock thing that they tried to make us do. Um, -1 to hit. You're taking this one for Chaos Knights a good portion of the time. I'm not going to say every time first turn, but I think it's most agreed that you're taking Darkness, that one. And guess what? It doesn't stop. Throughout the rest of the game, you get other abilities and shits, and you can just go through walls and other things. So I think you can, for one detachment, say, hey, your monsters are survivable somehow, some way. Also, another way, if you want to make us jump through a hoop, which you all love to do, I'm saying this as if speaking to GW, recon element is also a nice way of implementing it. And you also have Rubrikai Phalanx that I am just now thinking about. Um, is it Rubrikai Phalanx? The Thousand Sun one. Either way, if you're in cover, you always count as having cover. And if you are in cover, +1 to the save. That's pretty cute. I think that you can do that for air monsters and still be fine. Thousand Suns, because I am just now thinking about that right now. Rubrikai Phalanx, right? Each time an attack with an unmodified damage characteristic of 1 is allocated to a monster model, add 1 to the armor saving throw. I think that could also be cool. Now, however, it's not the 1 damage attacks that we necessarily have to worry about. You could just do the thing that we used to have on the Tyrannifex before you all nerfed it before it even came out, and then changed the ability and then kept the points. Anyway, that was a mess. You could make it so that kind of like Catan, -1 damage. You can do something along those lines where you could do -1 damage. But monster, that's insane. That's dastardly. That's downright despicable. How could they ever let something like that happen where an entire army gets damage reduction? Oh no, what if -1 to the wound roll, Wrath of the Rock, or my favorite of them, Failhammer Siege Host Chaos Space Marines. We've seen the capability of just making it harder to be killed. That's what needs to happen with Tyranids. Now, the reason I didn't suggest -1 to wound is because I do admit I think that would be a little bit overtuned to shit. If you gave our monsters the ability to have -1 to wound in Crusher Stampede along with the other shit, I think that would be slightly overtuned. But given it so that I still have a save, would be pretty nice. Whether that be a feel no pain because you took it away from the fucking psychophage, or just making our save better would be nice. Moving on to the next detachment, Assimilation Swarm. This one's simple. I think you can do what happened for Scintillating Legion, make your 2 command point stratagem a 1 command point stratagem. I think a Blade of Carapace going down to 1 will be okay. I think everybody will survive. Also, finally, just make the Toxic Rain and Venom tropes fucking harvesters. I fought tooth and nail about how the Norn Assimilator, just because it's in the name, doesn't make sense lore-wise, and people said, fuck it, here it is, so fuck it. Do it for these that we've been asking for. Is it going to make the detachment substantially better? No, but it might make these better, and I'm already bringing Venom tropes, maybe, just maybe. Why not? Fuck it. Think that's fair. Then we have Warrior Bioform Onslaught, where, hey, it's simple. I don't think this needs to be amazing, but I do think we can just make the Warriors better. Just make the Warriors finally do it. Give them a 3-up save, right? Give them a 3-up save, and make it so that the ranged Warriors hit on 3s. Simple enough. And finally, Unending Swarm. Yes, I know there's a block of text here. I think we can add another one that happened over here and still isn't a problem. Shambarat Victorium, I think you can just let us bring a battle, endless multitude unit with a unit size of 10 into the game per turn. I think it will be okay. This has not become a problem. Hell, even Flyblown Host hasn't become a problem out of the Death Guard shit. I think you'll be fine if we just do this. So, just like everybody looking for to be made whole when things go awry with a new standard of living, I think you can look through these detachments and these are some simple changes, GW, that you could implement, and it'll be okay, right? You'll notice that I didn't talk about Invasion Fleet. I don't think you should buff Invasion Fleet, really. That's my hot take. I don't think Invasion Fleet needs touching. I think Index is fine, just falling by the wayside. That's my hot take. So, yeah, thank you for Subterranean Assault. And to make it so that Subterranean Assault doesn't become stupid OP, in my opinion, you can just buff the other detachments. And then I do have some other ideas that just I think still won't make Subterranean Assault OP. So yeah, those are my feelings on how we can make Tyranid detachments better before the additions end. So yeah, if you like the video, like it. Got a comment for me, comment. And until next time, peace out, my monstrosities.